guys, it's Kat again, back with another video helping you guys get into EQ2's latest XPAC Chaos Descending. So for this video today we are going to look more at gear. So how do you make that leap from playing the solos to getting into heroics? What gear do you need? There's actually a lot to talk about when it comes to gear. Some of it is actually kind of complicated. You might have to learn a few new things. So I'm probably going to end up breaking this into several different videos. I think for this first part, we're just going to look at, well, what is the quested gear you can actually get from Chaos Descending as a solo player that you'll want to make sure you get and will carry into heroics with you. So first step then is when you first come into the library here in Marist, you get popped out of the wizard spire here, is that there's this desk up here. You're going to want to come right here, look at Titian's Lockbox. Okay, this is the free set of gear and free mount that comes right off the back with the XPAC. So you get a full set of gear here. And we're going to go ahead and grab, just for an example, we're going to take the Archivist plate. And there is, like I said, there is a free mount here at the very bottom. If you don't have one, he doesn't have any stats on him. So if you don't have one, he'll get you from place to place. But if you have one that has stats on him, then that's actually better. He is not the cutest thing, but if you like that appearance, you can use him for that as well. So this Archivist gear here, this isn't that great, okay? The stats on it, it's really not much of an upgrade. In some cases, it's actually a little bit of a downgrade, aside from the resolve from a lot of the stuff you probably have if you played Pop at all. But you still want to pick up a complete set of this. And why is that? Well, when we looked at it in the merchant window there, all you saw was the gear, but when you get in your bags and examine it, you'll notice that it actually comes pre-adorned. So every single one of those pieces come pre-equipped with adornments. Now, I already bought a full set of gear, and I used my Adornment Reclamation spell, which if you don't have it, you just pick up from your class trainer, and pulled off all those adorns, and hey, it gives me almost a completely full set of white, orange, and green adorns. Even gives me a new blue adorn, which is new for Chaos Descending. So even though the gear is awful and you want to replace that with better stuff as soon as you possibly can, you are set up with a pretty good set here of adorns. Now, does this mean you have to use all these, that you want to even use all these? No, it doesn't. If you remember from the first video we did, we got a set of really awesome white runes from the panda. He had the cyan adorns, he had some orange adorns. What you're going to want to do is between the panda and this set here is pick and choose which the best ones are. So the raw power ones, so potency, those are awesome. The Great Torrent set from the panda are awesome. And if you really like these potency ones and you wish you had one more, you know what? Go buy another one of those breastplates or whatever piece it's on in the set that you get. It's different for the different classes, obviously. But find the one that has the potency adorn and just buy several of those. There's health ones on there. Obviously you can pick whichever is the best. A lot of us are going health and potency because that's where, well, potency is where a lot of us are hurting after the stat squish. So between Planes of Prophecy and Chaos Descending, they did a lot of changes to AAs so that a lot of our potency was cut in half. So a lot of people are adding for potency. A lot of these orange ones are really good. But pick and choose the best between this and the panda, or the ones that your guildies can make for you as well. Okay, so you've got a decent set of adorns. You are going to want to replace the actual gear there with some stuff from solo. So what can you get from questing that'll stick with you? Now, from doing the signature line, you are going to get an offhand weapon, okay? And if you do the signature line and the overland quest, you'll get an achievement and you'll get another blue adorn. So not just the blue one you got from the Titian set, but you'll have 2 blue adorns, and those go on your weapons. Your primary, your secondary, your ranged, all have spots for the blue adorns. So you'll have 2 out of 3 just from doing the signature line and picking up those free ones. But once you get your offhand, what you're going to want to do is come out to the merchant gallery, because there's actually an upgraded version of it. So the one you get is okay, I think it's like 60 resolve, but there's an upgraded version that is better all the way around and goes up to 90 resolve. So for an example, we've got the Emboldened Sky Send, the Gale Blocker, so the shield here for the more tanky classes is this has 90 resolve, has more potency, so it's an upgrade all the way around. Now this one you will have to run a bunch of solos and weeklies, because it is going to cost you 850 Archivist Tremas, but that actually goes pretty fast if you're doing the daily quest. And then it'll cost you some status and a little bit of plat. Okay, so there are merchants here, and this gentleman here will, the status merchant, he will sell stuff for the Archivist Tremas. Now that's the stuff, like I said, you get from solos, from weeklies, the Ruined Rye coins, that is from doing the Overland Key quest. So when you're in the zones and you see Dr. Cannon roaming around, he's got his little feather over his head, and he gives you the keys, you'll get those coins as well as gear from doing those quests. This is the merchant that sells stuff for those, and a lot of this isn't that much better than the solo stuff you're going to get. Certainly not better than the master crafted stuff we can make, but there are a few things here and there that they sell that are pretty good. This one actually has a ring and a bracelet, and these are both pretty good. And you'll notice one of the reasons why they're probably pretty good is because they're tagged as relic. So you can only equip 2 relics at a time, and a greater relic, which is usually your epic weapon. So you just have to be careful that you don't have too many of these on. And then lastly, we have the Quintesson merchant. So the elemental quintessence you get from doing the PQs. This is the merchant that'll sell stuff on them. So, and you'll notice, like, I think the status merchant had a green adorn that was much better than the stuff you got from Titian's box, but it costs quite a few tremas, so save up for that. Same thing here with the Amethyst of the Allmother. Now, a lot of these, and just like the stuff off the Rune Rai merchant here, as you're grinding quest, as you're doing PQs to get these coins, a lot of the time you actually get these items as a drop before you get enough coins, so that's even better. But if you're in great need of a mount, because that one was just for looks, it didn't have any stats on it, there are 2 different mounts that you can get as a solo player. Well, more than 2, but we're going to say 2, because there actually is 4 different mounts that drop from solos. Now I got really lucky because it is a rare drop, and I think this was actually when I did the signature line. It was like the first time I did that solo zone. I got this Agni Titan of Flame. So whereas the other one didn't have any stats, you'll notice this guy has quite a bit. So he is going to be a big help to me in my stats. Okay, but he is all RNG, right? It's just luck of the draw whether or not you get him as a drop, or one of the other 3 that can drop from solos. And each of them is kind of related to the Overland Zone. Like, he's obviously kind of the Doomfire one. We have the Water Zone, the Earth and Badlands. There's mounts, there's an air mount that kind of look like they go with each of those zones. If you do happen to get all 4, you can combine them into one kind of super mount. And there is an equivalent in the Heroic Sin as well, but obviously that's a lot more rare and harder to get from there. So if that's all random, then what if you're just not that lucky? Well, there actually is an achievement that you can get. that you can just work for that takes RNG out of it. So if you were to go to Triumphs, go down to Chaos Descending, it'll give you the list, but it's the public knowledge. So it's basically if you do every single PQ that Chaos Descending has to offer, and each of these gets ticked off as achievement, when you're done, you get a weapon, which isn't that great. It's not something you actually want to equip, but once you get this achievement, you can come over to this little dwarf here that sells stuff with the Quintesson coins, and you can't see this if you don't have the achievement, but once you do, you have the option of buying this mount. So same stats as the one that I got from solo, but this is the water version, and this would actually count towards my super mount. If I got the 3 other ones as a random drop, I could then use this as my 4th, and I would get the super mount then from the solo version. Now he is going to cost 500 quintessence, so keep plugging away those PQs and status and a little bit of plat. Okay, so that is not an exhaustive list of the things that you can get from CD, but it should give you guys a couple things to work at and definitely get you started on gear. We'll do another video where we talk about mastercrafted gear, because that one is a little bit more complicated than just buying stuff off the broker. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Till next time, guys.